Okay, today we are going to unlock the AI mind. We hear about large language models, or LLMs, pretty much everywhere. But what are they, really? How do they actually think? Well, in the next few minutes, we're going to decode this powerful technology and figure out what it all means for us. Let's just dive right in.
I mean, seriously, think about it for a second. You can ask a chatbot a question, and it'll spit out a perfect sonnet about your cat. Or you could describe an app you want to build, and it starts generating the actual code for it. This isn't science fiction anymore, you know? It's literally in our hands every single day. The real question is, how on earth is any of this even possible?
And this isn't some far-off future thing. The magic is happening right now. We've got models that can read an entire book, hundreds of pages, and then just discuss it with you. Others are acting as creative partners for marketing teams or as co-pilots for software developers, totally changing the game for how people work. I mean, from analyzing super complex documents to breaking down language barriers across the globe, these aren't just clever parlor tricks. They're powerful tools being used as we speak.
So to really get a handle on the magic, we have to start with the name itself. We throw around the acronym LLM all the time, but what do those three letters really stand for? Let's break it down.
Okay, so at its core, an LLM is a massive deep learning model. But a much better way to think about it is like this. Imagine a brain that's been trained by reading a digital library the size of the entire internet. The really crucial part is that it doesn't just memorize all that stuff. Instead, it learns the connections, the patterns, the grammar, the context, the very fabric of how we communicate.
So what caused this sudden explosion in what AI can do? Well, the engine that powers the whole thing is a truly revolutionary piece of tech called the transformer. To really understand what makes these LLMs tick, we've got to peek inside that AI brain and see why this one architectural leap was such a game changer. I mean, it's the dividing line between all the AI that came before and the incredible stuff we have today. This really shows you just how massive that leap was. See, before, AI models called RNNs had to read sequentially, one word at a time, just like we do. It was slow, and they'd often forget the beginning of a long sentence by the time they got to the end. But transformers? They changed the whole game. They can look at the entire sentence, or even a whole document, all at once. This ability to process in parallel is the secret sauce. It makes them ridiculously fast to train and allows them to scale up to become truly massive.
So how does a computer actually understand a word? Well, this part is pretty wild. It doesn't see text like we do. It sees relationships. Using a technique called word embeddings, it puts every single word onto this giant, multi-dimensional map of meaning. So on this map, the distance and direction from man to woman is almost the exact same as from king to queen. It's not just learning words, it's learning the concept of gender. This is how an AI gets nuance and context, not just simple dictionary definitions.
Okay, so we've got this incredibly powerful engine, the transformer. But an engine is totally useless without fuel. So how do you teach a model like this? You feed it data, and the scale of that data is honestly hard to even wrap your head around. To build that ridiculously complex map of meaning we just talked about, you need an astronomical amount of fuel. Now this number here, this represents just one of the data sources they use for training. It's called the Common Crawl dataset, and it has over 50 billion web pages. Just let that sink in. A giant snapshot of the public internet, fed directly into the model's brain so it can learn the patterns of human language. And to process all of that insane amount of data, the models themselves have to be absolutely immense. Take OpenAI's GPT-3, for example. It has 175 billion parameters. The best way to think about these parameters is like tiny little knobs that the model adjusts over and over and over again during training. Each knob helps refine its understanding of language, and with 175 billion of them, you can get a very nuanced understanding. All right, so you've built this gigantic pre-trained brain. Now what? How do you actually get it to do something specific for you? Well, it starts with zero-shot learning. That's where you just ask it something right out of the blue, no examples needed. To get better results, you can use few-shot learning, where you give it a couple of examples to show it what you're looking for. And for real expertise, developers fine-tune the model, training it even more on a very specific dataset to turn it into an expert in something like medicine or law.
Now, all this amazing technology isn't just some lab experiment. It is actively reshaping our world right now. So where is this all headed? Well, the future isn't coming. In a lot of ways, it's already here. We are on the verge of some absolutely huge shifts. In the workplace, these models are going to start handling the repetitive stuff, freeing us up to do more creative problem solving.
The virtual assistants in our phones and homes, they're going to become genuinely conversational partners that actually understand what you mean. And get this is where it gets really crazy. The next generation of AI won't just learn from text. They'll learn from images, audio, and video, giving them a much richer understanding of our world and pushing their performance ever closer to, and in some cases, even beyond, what humans can do.
And that brings us to the most important question of all, doesn't it? This technology is unbelievably powerful, and it's evolving at a breathtaking pace. It's going to change how we work, how we learn, how we create. So the real question isn't if our world is going to change. It's how will we choose to evolve with these new, incredibly capable partners? And what are we going to build together?